Hey folks, Matt from AreaTheImage.com. Just reading an email from a viewer here. This is from SJ Bros. That's their the name on the email. He says, "Hey Matt, I've been watching your channel and have been learning a lot. I'm looking forward to getting my first DSLR, but I'm confused between the Nikon D7200, D7500, and the Canon 80D. Which one should I go for? Which one will you recommend between the Nikon D7200, Canon 80D, and also between the D7500 and Canon 80D? Okay, so he's repeating himself. If weather sealing is not the problem, then should I go for a Nikon D5600? Okay, so we're throwing the 5600 in the mix too. Thanks in advance. Okay, good question. And I can see how this could be confusing on which way you want to go. The Canon 80D is a great all-rounder. The big problem with the 80D is it should have come out when it came out with 4K. It was old before its time simply because it was extremely lacking in video there. If you're forward thinking and you're going to do any amount of video, you know, you need 4K these days. 1080 is old. You want to future-proof your stuff, and you know, it won't be too long before you're looking back at 1080 and thinking the same way I do when I see old 640 footage and think, oh, I wish I had something better at the time. So if video is a consideration, a major part of consideration, then I think the 80D, I would rule it out. As much as I like the camera, I actually love the camera. If it had 4K, I would have one right now. The problem is it doesn't. Now, the 7200 kind of has the same thing, but it's older than the 80D. Now, the 7200 has no 4K, but it's an excellent photo machine. Between the 80D and the 7200, if you're just doing photography, 7200 is a better camera. A little better focus system, a little better metrics on the sensor. In other words, it's performing a little better. It's got a little better high ISO abilities. It's got a little bit of dynamic range advantage. Right across the board, it's got some advantage. Not huge, but it does have a better performing sensor. So, where does that leave us with the D7500? Well, the 7500 is the only one out of those three that does 4K. It's basically a baby D500, and as much as we heard a lot of backlash from people who were hoping for an update to the 72, which I would say the 7500 really wasn't, it's still an amazing performing camera. You've actually lost a few megapixels, you're down to 20, but you've also gained 4K, and you've gained a very, very good performing sensor in a crop format for high ISO and for all the metrics. The D500 is a stellar camera for that. So in a lot of ways, the 7500 is a more economical, very good value-priced camera. And if you're interested in doing video, it's got the 4K. It's a great photography camera, really good autofocus system. So it's probably your best all-rounder if you're looking for video and photography. So that's where I would go with that. The 5600, where does that fit in? Well, the 5600 is kind of a nothing update to the 5500 in the sense that it didn't really have much. It really was nothing stellar or earth-changing about 5600. There was a few extra connectivity options and nothing that I think most people would run. You certainly wouldn't upgrade from a 5500 to a 5600 unless there was some weird reason you specifically wanted a different type of connectivity besides Wi-Fi or something. Not a bad camera. I like it. I liked the 5500. It just there wasn't much of an update to the 5600. So I actually would save my money and get the 5500 if I was you, if you were looking at that. Where does that fit in? Well, it's not 4K. So if you're seriously into video, I would rule it out for that. If you just want photo, if you're just into photography, it falls in where the 7200 does. Pretty much the exact same sensor performance. Very, very good autofocus system. If I'm trying to remember if it was the exact same one. I think it was maybe a tier below, but still very, very good. But smaller and lighter, and it does have the movable screen. So that's kind of your choice. Do you like smaller and lighter with the movable screen, or do you prefer the little bit bigger body? Some people do like the bigger body and more controls. You've got 2 command dials and whatnot. You've got, you know, a dedicated shutter speed dial and a dedicated aperture dial. More of a professional layout on the 7200 than you have on the 56 or the 55. So again, 7200 and the 56 or the 55, great photography cameras. 80D, great all-rounder, but again, if you're looking at for an all-rounder and you're at all interested in video, I think you need to be into something with 4K. That's my feeling. People disagree, but I do think you need 4K nowadays. So the 7500, if you're into video, is the one I will go with out of those. What do you guys think? Do you agree with me? Do you agree with my reasoning on that? Which way would you guys go? Let's help them out. And let us know in the comments below which way you'd go and why. And thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your question. We'll be back soon here at artoftheimage.com.